Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another video today. I am really excited to be joined today by Anna Reisdorf. She is a certified nutritionist, correct? Dietitian?
Registered dietitian.
Registered dietitian that I feel like is really going to be able to add to the conversation of overall health and wellness and nutritional needs and nourishment and all of that in regards to GLP-1 use. So welcome, Anna. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on this channel. I've been following you for a minute.
Oh, yay. I love that. So why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself? And that could be professionally, personally, all of it. I want to know it all.
Sure. So I am a registered dietitian. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been a registered dietitian for 10 years. I've done, or not 10 years, 20 years, excuse me. I've done a lot of different things in nutrition. I taught at the university. I worked at the hospital. I worked in nursing homes. I worked in bariatrics, preparing people for a gastric bypass. So I've done a lot of different things, but for the last 10 years, I've been working as a content marketer, writing content for health and wellness brands, primarily supplements. But about 2 years ago, this little robot named ChatGPT showed up and took away 80% of my business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because I would write SEO based content for brands. And so I decided that I needed to find a new direction. And I am a GLP-1 user myself. I've been on GLP-1 since the end of 2023. So 2 years now. And I started just seeing in the space that a lot of dietitians were real hesitant to jump into this. And so I saw what was happening is that the space was being, I don't want to say taken over. The space was being primarily run by users of GLP-1, which is a valuable story to share, but also not always the best information. And I don't want to be offensive to you at all, because that's not what I'm trying to say.
No, I agree.
There are a few things that I've heard of just people saying, especially particularly on TikTok, that is just not true or accurate. And I just felt like there really needed to be more legitimate evidence-based practitioners speaking out. And for some reason, the other dietitians were just real scared because it's
Why do you think that is? Do you have theories on that?
They, in general, are a group of super type A people that always want to be right, that never want to say the wrong thing, that want to have 56 evidence-based papers to back up any word that they talk about, which is great. But when it's something that's changing so fast and is so new and everybody wants it so bad, we can't wait. I was on a call with some dietitians yesterday and they were like, well, but I don't really know everything about it. And, I don't really feel comfortable saying it. And I was like, more than 99% of these people that are just saying whatever. So yeah, put your voice out there. So I need a new direction. So I took all of that content marketing knowledge that I have of how to build channels, of how to do SEO, of how to do marketing. And I just created this GLP-1 hub. And so my goal is to bring other practitioners through my podcast, but also to provide quality information about GLP-1 to help people not just lose weight, but be healthier long-term. So it's really, really been a wonderful and rewarding journey. And I've been loving connecting with the people and working in this different way. That's not just trying to sell writing services to brands.
Right. It's a lot more hands-on for what you went to school for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Than it was before.
Yes.
So I am going to link Anna's channel down below. It's the GLP-1 Hub. Definitely go and follow her. I have been binging her videos the last couple of days and they're all so good. I mentioned a video of hers last week in one of my videos. So I have said before that I love the space of practitioners, the practitioners that are in this space, because you can really learn a lot from them. And I have said 100 times that I would so much rather watch a professional telling me something about a GLP-1. That's kind of going against myself, but then to learn things personally that I'm going to share than watching, Jim on TikTok, like you mentioned. Right. The TikTok space can be scary because it's either we are way at this end of the spectrum or way at the other end. And then everything in between, and TikTok is so fast that you can say something and people just believe it. They see it, they believe it, and that's that. Nobody questions anything. So
yeah,
definitely a good service that you're doing here for all of us.
I'm trying.
So you said you're a GLP-1 user. You want to tell us a little bit about that journey?
Sure. So I was kind of an early adopter of GLP-1 because I started seeing my colleagues talking about it, like, oh, Ozempic this, Ozempic that. And this was before they were approved for weight loss.
Okay.
And so I went and I was like, I should try this. I've always struggled with my weight, especially since I had kids. And after I had kids, I was able to like lose maybe 15 pounds on my own through like diet and exercise and all the things, but it just like wasn't really going below that. And I always felt like I had like maybe 20 pounds to lose my whole life to be like at a normal BMI, which, you know, that's just how I thought about it. Like I know BMI has issues, but that's kind of where I always was. And so I just had always struggled and I was like, let me try this. You know, I had done other weight loss medications in the past that worked for a time. And then, so I was an early adopter. I went through an online program and I got on what was Mounjaro at the time. And I lost like 25 pounds really quickly. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I'll stop the medication. And I did that because I didn't really understand, even as a practitioner, because I haven't been working as a practitioner for so long. I didn't really understand how medication worked. I thought it was like phentermine. Like you would get on it, you'd lose weight, and then you'd like get off, right?
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then I will be honest, it was like right before the summer. And I had this really fun, good time summer. And I was at the lake and I was just like having a good time. Just all the things, having a good time. And the weight came back on like pretty quickly. So by fall, I decided, okay, I know what I did wrong. I can't just like go and just be like the good time gal all summer long and like think that that's going to result in me maintaining this weight. So let me try again. And I know what all like I need to do. So really it was because of the cost that I ended up getting off of it again, because like at that time, like I was paying for it out of pocket. And then I did manage to maintain the weight, but like after about 9 months, I started seeing it like kind of just creeping, you know, and I didn't gain it all back at that time. And then I met with a colleague of mine who specializes in weight maintenance. And she like works with people who have like lost 100 pounds and like want to keep it off. And she's like, look, she's like, I know you, I know how stressed out you are. You're a business owner, you're a mom, you're doing all the things. She's like, and you're going to perimenopause. She's like, you can either eat 150 grams of protein a day, exercise an hour a day for the rest of your life and like be crazy about this, or you can just get back on the medication. And that was what kind of I opted for at that time. I felt like it was a better decision for me because it is a significant stress off my plate. Like,
yeah.
And so I've been on it now again for like a year, and I lost another 15 pounds in an amount of weight I've never been. I like still walk by the mirror and I'm like, oh gosh, who's this girl? You know?
Yeah. So you are somebody that tried twice to go off of it. As a practitioner, and you know, like as somebody who professionally, quote unquote, with all of the education that you had, should have been able to keep it off, right? Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about that. Like that even the people that know all the things that they're supposed to do still struggle with it and still have a hard time. Like, you know, even as a registered dietitian, you still were struggling with your weight because is it so much about knowledge versus what's going on in your body, right? So at what point in this journey, up and down, did you start GLP-1 Hub?
I started it after like I decided to just be on it. So I started it at the beginning of this year.
Okay. So I would love to, if you're okay with it, venture into a little bit about what your thoughts on GLP-1 and nutrition and how they go hand in hand are. Are you okay with discussing that? So what do you think about this whole like diet culture GLP-1 combination?
Here's the thing. The dietetics community, like some of my colleagues, have really embraced this like health at any size, everything is fine, just eat whatever kind of mentality. And I've always been against that for the fact that 90% of us have a metabolic issue.
Mhm.
And we cannot deny that the obesity rates are high in our country. Like, and to say, oh, it's fine, every size is fine. And like, I don't want to shame anybody, and I don't want people to feel bad about who they are or anything like that. But like, it's not.
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like we need a solution. And the solution that I would personally love to see is that our food gets better, is that we live a less stressed life, is that we have sidewalks to walk on. Like, I would love for it to be a lifestyle change, but it would have to be everyone in our whole country getting involved in like the food industry and like
Yeah.
like we'd have to change everything.
That's a perfect world
Right.
scenario. Yeah.
So to me, I feel like we needed a solution that helped us be healthier. And this is the solution.
Yeah.
But because we have struggled so much with our weight and with our self-esteem and with, you know, all these people trying to sell us this and that for helping us lose weight, that has never really been effective. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
We are all holding on to this like mentality about like, if I am skinnier, I will be better. Like, and so it's like, it's hard for me to like balance like the health at any size thing with the, yes, we are severely ill and unhealthy. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, absolutely. And I think that, like you said, GLP-1 is a tool that can, I kind of think, I was talking to Chris at the Downsides about this, that over, 30, 40 years is just the GLP-1 just the beginning. Like, is it going to drive us as a country more towards some of the things that you were talking about? Is it a stepping stone?
I'd love for us to like change how we think as Americans, but it's like hard for me to think that way. Like, we went to Europe this summer and I see like the French don't go to work till like 10. Like, I was sitting at this desk at 5 a.m. today. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
just be on, like, I don't know how to like let go of that as an American person, or the way that my brain is, you know?
My sister, this is funny because she works for a company that's in our town, but it's run by two brothers that are Dutch. And so they run their company very much like the Dutch do work over there. So like when she signed her contract, it was like 28-hour work week, like you come in when you want to, you leave when you want to, as long as you get the work done. Like, very low stress, low maintenance. You don't want to come to work today? Sure, I'll send you stuff to work on at home, And like that shift when she first started, because I was watching her daughter for a while, so it was like random when she would show up. Like, she'd show up at 11 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? They, in other countries, have such a lower level of stress that we do, and we put it on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like work every day, all day till the day you die type of thing. And then we're eating crap and we're not moving because we're sitting behind desks all day. And like, what do you expect? At some point, our health was going to suffer from all of this.
Right.
So, it's imperative that something has to change.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that GLP-1 can be that change.
Yeah.
I've met with a few nutritionists in my life. I had to do it a couple times when I was pregnant because I was high risk one time. I've done it since then. And going back to like selling you things, every nutritionist that I've ever met with has not been on board with like low fat foods and like fake stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that same sort of thought process?
Yes. Like, my diet theory is whole foods as much as possible, fewer processed foods. We can't stay away from all processing, right? Because everything to some extent is processed. Right. But, as much close to nature as you can, fruits and vegetables, lean proteins. I don't subscribe to like a keto, low carb, you know, like none of these trendy ththings, vegan, you know, the carnivores are real passionate about their thing. Like, just no.
They're real passionate.
Yes, they are. And, you know, even supplements, like as a person who has worked for the supplement industry before this, for the last 10 years, like doing the content writing, you know, I really take few supplements even, because I just don't think that all this stuff that we spend all this money on trying to find the magic bullet is really necessary. It's very basic, and we like make it so complicated. Oh, I can't eat that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you and I really agree on this. I've like, even within the GLP-1 community, like, buy this protein powder, buy this supplement that's going to make it more effective. It's become a sales pitch for all of the people that want to make money off of it. I mean, even like, what's that meal? Healthy choice meals, GLP-1 friendly. You know, they all label things in a way that's going to attract GLP-1 users. So the point of me asking you that was, we have all like diet culture commercials and stuff, you know, telling us we need to do this diet and eat this and not eat that or whatever. But then like the actual professionals, you and doctors and, you know, don't tell us that at all and never have.
Right.
So it's like, where did this disconnect happen? You know?
I mean, look, we live in a you know, commercial society. Everything is a sale. And I will be honest, like part of the reason that I wanted to get in this GLP-1 is because I saw it as a huge market opportunity.
Yes, same.
I mean, I have sponsors for my podcast that pay me money to promote their products.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to lie about that. I am careful with who comes on, and a lot of them are products that I try and use or whatever, and that I like. But like, now it's a market, just like the weight loss market was. Like, people who wanted to lose weight were a group of people that they could sell something to, and now it's the GLP-1 people. But like, I think we need to take a step back and realize that there's no like magic bullet. There is no protein shake that's going to like optimize your weight loss. Like,
yeah,
there are plenty that are good and adequate, you know, and if you want to have that, that's great. Like, it's convenient. It offers a solution that you do need your protein, but you can like have it quickly, you know, like it's not like, people can't be like, oh, it's only this one, or it's only that one, or it's going to be this. Like, that's where they get crazy about it. And you don't even need it at all. It's just like, I try to just offer people like easier tips and tricks to make their lives easier. But if you don't want to buy anything, don't.
Right. You don't really need any of it.
No.
And it's like, and that's why I think it's hard for people to separate diet culture and GLP-1s, because they've meshed together. Very much so. Yeah.
Like, every brand that I talk to is like, how do we promote to this audience? How do we sell our stuff to this audience? Like, it's a market.
Yeah, same. And I am one that largely ignores most of those things, because a lot of them are crap.
Sure.
You know, and so when I do engage in conversation, I ask a lot of questions, and most of the time, like, they can't even tell me. They just want to sell this and make money, and they see that as a group of people they can sell it to. Yeah. So I was writing down a couple things I wanted to make sure I asked you about. So if you could give like your ideal, what would your GLP-1 diet look like? What would you tell somebody?
Sure. So the way that I plan my own diet, and the way that I look at it, is I always start with protein first. So I think, okay, where am I getting my protein? And I don't always like love protein foods. So like, I do try to like balance it out. But I think a high protein breakfast is a great place to start. Lately, I've been doing those oats overnight. A neighbor gave me a box of them. They've got like 20 grams of protein for the thing. And then I put milk in it, and that gives like another 8.
Yeah.
So that's almost 30 grams of protein right there for that. And then usually, like, regardless of how I feel, I will eat 3 meals a day. I think it's really important to eat, because that's how you're getting your nutrition. You don't eat, you are going to miss out on nutrients. And so I have my breakfast, I take a break, and I have my lunch. So I always start with the protein. I like tuna. I like, you know, whatever leftovers we have that was protein. And then I always have fruits and vegetables, because you need to have the fiber too. And I think that's a piece that people forget is the fiber, and that's why they are so constipated.
Yes.
They are just like,
I watched your video on that and I was like,
yes,
this is great. Like I don't even know why that never connected to me before.
I think I need to make a video on fiber coming up, like, because I surveyed my audience and they're like, I'm so constipated. I'm like, yeah, well, you're only eating protein.
Yeah.
And so, and then I, we do meal kits for dinner because I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been, I try to pick things that are more like that have a protein and that have lots of vegetables. And then, but I don't really limit anything. So I start with the protein. I always add the fiber. And then if I want to have something, I just have it. And that would be my ideal way.
And you don't count anything and you
Mm-mm.
don't restrict anything.
Nope. I eat ice cream every day. Regular ice cream.
That was what my question was going to be. So like full fat ice cream?
Every single day.
Do you measure it?
No.
I love you. Like,
No.
Yes.
The only days I don't eat it is when we run out.
No, I do think they're right. Well, most of the time, then I'm not an ice cream eater, but my husband is, and he'll just go get some. Like there's no running out. He just goes and gets it.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? I just lost my trail of thought now talking about ice cream. Oh, so I do think, and you can offer some insight on this as well. I do think that there's a time and a place for counting. Do you agree with that? Like, if you don't know what is in things, like say you're just starting your journey, like there's got to be some type of balance to what you're eating, right? Mm-hmm. So, do you suggest that in certain situations, like?
Yes, there's plenty of certain situations where it could be appropriate. Sometimes people are like not eating anything. And so they might track and say, oh my God, I only got 400 calories today. And then hopefully they will realize that that's not a sustainable amount for them. So that might encourage them to like even try to eat something, even if they're not hungry, or you might hit some kind of plateau and like not be losing weight and you think you're doing the right thing and you're not. So maybe tracking for a few days, but that's like, or, you want to make sure you're getting close to the protein and you're not like me being a dietitian, like knowing, okay, I can kind of eyeball it and I know I'm close enough. Right.
Right.
But some people have no idea. So that might help them get on track. But what I see is everybody's like, I only eat 1,100 calories and this is my macros and this is my blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And like, it's like the chronic tracking and the obsession and the like never wanting to let go of that is where I think the problem is. And you want to start like moving away from that sort of thinking and that way of like obsessing over food, because I don't know, like, is that the life you want to live?
Right. That was the basis of the video you were talking about that I posted last week. Like, are you going to count every bite of food you put in your mouth for the rest of your life?
Right.
And, and when I think about people I know in my life that are healthy and I mean, skinny, but that doesn't necessarily matter, but like healthy, well-balanced people, they're not doing any of that. Right? None of it.
No.
And even like fitness gurus that you see, they do it. And I bet you a lot of dollars that if they stopped it, that they would not be able, like they're the like heavily restrictive people that wouldn't be able to control, have the people that some people look up to, have they really healed their problems? Probably not.
Right. And we were talking before, like there's a lot of anxiety around this. Like if I don't do this, then I will gain the weight back. If I don't do this, I won't reach my goal. This is what I have to do. And it's like almost like a sense of control over things. Whereas like, it's not a normal way to be. You should be able to say, my body needs vegetables and fruits and protein. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And so like, where can I find those items and things that I enjoy? Like the other day, the meal kit that we made came with bok choy. I hate bok choy.
I like it.
I like it like in soups or in other things.
Yeah. Okay, so that's supposed to I never actually had it in anything but soups. So.
I hate it. And so I didn't eat it. And I know it's good for me and I know, but like, I'm not going to eat something that is like just awful. Like I like spinach. I could eat that. It has some of the same nutrients. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, find vegetables you like, find fruits you like, find proteins you like, find things that work for you. And stop getting so worried about it all the time. But like, I understand at the same time.
I mean, we've had decades of being ingrained in our minds, and that's a hard cycle to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm posting a video today actually where I'm talking about like the things that I just had to do for my journey. And one of them was like, well, the premise of it overall is removing as many things from my brain as I can. So making so many things autopilot that I don't have to worry about how much. So one example for myself is that I have 3 to 4 lunches that I eat on rotation. And I don't have to think about how much protein is in them. I've already done the work of figuring all that out. As long as I'm eating one of them, we're fine. You know?
Yeah.
And so it removes that anxiety and having to obsess and having to think of, because I don't need to. I know what I'm eating.
Right. And that is like a method of reducing your stress.
Yeah.
Which honestly is going to translate in more weight loss because your cortisol isn't going to be through the roof because you're stressing out about what you're going to eat for lunch.
It's very mental.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that people are realizing a lot more, which you've probably always known this, is the connection between your brain and your gut, and how much your mental thinking affects everything else in your body.
Yeah. I have a podcast coming out this week of this obesity doctor, and that's what she talks about is like you not managing your stress, you not putting up boundaries in your life, you not putting up like things that are going to de-stress you, and that's why you can't lose weight. Like that's what the whole episode is about.
Huh. Do you know when that's airing?
Monday.
In your GLP-1 hub on podcast platforms as well, correct?
Okay.
I'm going to make sure because I feel like that one would really resonate with me. So you mentioned in the beginning that you have heard a lot, or the one of the premises for starting this GLP-1 hub was things that you were hearing that was misinformation, but also things that you wanted to share that wasn't being shared. So do you mind sharing? Like, what are some things that you hear that you don't necessarily agree with? And then what do you want people to know?
I think that one of the main things is like how quickly one should lose weight and how this medication works. There's a lot of chit chat about I'm a non-responder, I'm a slow responder, and yes, there are some people that they get on this thing and like they lose 30 pounds, like, and it's like a miracle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's very few people that the medication like doesn't work for. And I think that labeling yourself as like a this or a that is not really beneficial. And then people like comparing a lot. Mm-hmm. So you and I are not going to lose weight the same way at the same rate. And people, you know, they go on and they see, oh, on TikTok, this girl lost 10 pounds in a week. Like that should be me or whatever it is. So helping people understand like how weight loss works. You're not going to lose weight every day. You're not going to lose weight every week. Sometimes your weight might go up and that doesn't mean you're not making progress.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people kind of not really getting like how it should work, how quickly it should work, and like how to, you know, what to do if it's not really working. And like I always say, the first step is to determine like is get a realistic expectation of how it will work for you, or, you know.
Even the studies themselves, though, like the Surmount studies that Eli Lilly did, they provide you that information if you really read them. Like there's several different parts that talk about slower responders and how eventually they do catch up to the quote unquote fast responders, and how you know, even the term of weight loss of losing, what is it, like 15 to 20% of your body mass, there's literally a thing there that says once they're at therapeutic dosing, right? So like 2.5 is not a therapeutic dose. So people have these misconceptions because they don't have all the information. So, you know, I guess that's what you're saying, is that you wanted to be able to provide that in a professional way.
The other thing is really that focus on protein, with forgetting that like you need other foods, you know, and yet like protein is important, but it's not the only thing. And then like people just forget that their body needs food. Like they want to ride this like, wave of just not eating, and then their hair falls out. And they're like, why is my hair falling out? Like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
You have to eat food. Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of things. And then I think that people want a lot of answers, and this is so new. I don't think that for weight loss specifically, right? And I think that practitioners are still trying to catch up. And so we don't have all the answers. And then so when somebody says something and they're like with confidence, like, oh, GLP-1 users need, like, that just seems not accurate to me.
And there's a lot of that even in the professional community, I think, where some of the professional accounts will come out and, you know, give their hard truth tips or whatever. And in, like you said, in 6 months, that could be completely different because of how things are evolving.
Right. And then the thing that scares me is just all the companies that are jumping on trying to provide GLP-1s that are scamming people. Like, that is very frustrating.
There's more popping up every day.
Yeah. And
every day. And it's a very big problem on TikTok specifically. You know, just in my comments, the people will comment and say, use this pharmacy. Like they'll spam comments and link stuff that is not legitimate sourcing of, I mean, if you're going to be on, you know, I've said this before, if you're going to be on Compound, do your research about whatever telehealth compounding farm, make sure they're 503A or 503B and ask for details, you know, like you're going to be injecting this into your body, you know, do your research about things, but then also don't believe everything you hear on the internet. You know, what I think it could be detrimental is like the people that'll be like, oh, I'm injecting water. They sent me water. But you're not. Like, you think that this 503B pharmacy is going to send you saline and risk their entire business,
right,
to save $5 or whatever. It means some of that, like, information that people spread, especially like Reddit and stuff like that, can be very dangerous to the community as a whole, but also to people that like might want to think about getting on it, and then it scares them. Then somebody that might actually really need it, and then they don't end up going that route because of all of these things they've read, you know?
Right.
It's really hard to try to balance out information that's being spread, even like commenting on things back when people say things. Sometimes I struggle with that. I'm sure you do as well, with like knowing what to say and how to say it.
Right. And I don't really personally care to like argue with people if they want to like be on their bandwagon of this is the right way. Like, I can only provide the information that I know is correct, you know, but it's frustrating because I mean, it kind of goes back to what we said before. This is a market, and people see an opportunity. They're going to try to get into that market, and it's not always going to be good actors doing that.
Right. And a lot of, even online, it's a scary space online, because even stuff you see that is comments on TikTok or comments on Reddit or even content creators, some of it's all fake. Like, they are literally hired people to go say things and push things towards other places.
Right.
And so that's why you can ask ChatGPT, they'll tell you most of the time correct information. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty easy nowadays to research and find your own information, but it's like people don't want to.
Well, I think we just like live in this quick world. You see a quick thing and you're like, oh, that's it. You know, I mean, it goes to every piece of our world, our politics and everything. It's like they don't look any deeper.
Right. No, very true. So, you know, you've interviewed a lot of people in this space, a lot of professionals. What do you think is like the best information or advice that you've heard so far? If you like could pick a few things that somebody professional has told you.
The thing that excites me are these some of the doctors that come on who are using it for like longevity or brain health or other sort of, they're diving into other areas. Like, that seems really cool to me. And then I've just been like loving talking to some of my colleagues. Like, I have an interview with a heart health dietitian who's a friend of mine, and like how she's looking at it for heart health and how it can be beneficial, but you've got to think about all these other things. So it's just been really fun to like explore the GLP-1 from like different angles. Another thing that was really interesting, I had a cancer dietitian come on, and they're using it with people with active cancer.
Really?
Yeah, like help them lose weight, because breast cancer and prostate cancer, if you lose weight, if you're overweight and you lose weight, even during treatment, you have a better outcome.
Oh. And, there is a lot of research about, like the lowering your risk of obesity driven cancers, like if you lose weight, so
Right.
it kind of makes sense that
Yeah.
even if you have active cancer, it still might benefit you.
Yeah. It's so
Interesting.
what they're doing, because to me, like, oh, if you work with cancer people, like they're malnutritioned and they can't eat, you know what I mean? So you like want to get calories in them. That was always what I was taught.
Oh,
But she said that no, like it's the opposite for these specific types of cancer. It's not for
right.
like all cancer.
Right.
So it was, I don't know, just like it's so fun to be able to learn these like innovative new ways that practitioners are using this. And like that's really what I love about it. It's like, because I don't have all the answers and I learn I learn something new every day.
There's a study, there's a couple studies going on in like addiction studies that, people that suffer with gambling or alcoholism or drug addiction. But there's one rehab center in Pennsylvania. Apparently they're like one of the biggest in the country. And they're actually treating some of their patients with Zepbound and then doing fMRI studies on them to compare how the brain lights up when given during impulsivity and when given like talked to about their triggers or whatever, and shows the difference between people that are on Zepbound versus the ones that aren't. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it's quite literally a miracle. I don't know if we can say that, but
I think it is.
I think it is too. And to think that it was just some like little guy in, I don't even know where, he was like in the Netherlands or something, that found the little scientist, he was like 80 or something, that discovered a GLP-1. I researched him one time, and it was like he was doing it for kidney function was why they were first being studied. And then it was like, oh, and then figured them out for diabetics or whatever. But like, isn't that cool that it's like can change into that? So if you had somebody approach you that was starting a GLP-1 that had no knowledge at all about it, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I always encourage people to do it. A neighbor came up to me just this week and was like, well, what if my stomach gets frozen? And I don't know. And da, 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 da. And I'm like, look, talk to your doctor. Like I can't prescribe to people and I don't know their medical history. Right. But I always encourage them to do it. If they're struggling with their weight and they need a solution, I really encourage them. And then my other thing is that nutritional adequacy piece is like, don't get so wrapped up into this, like either not eating, because it's easy to just roll on a iced coffee all day. Cause I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Or forgetting that you are supposed to have food in your day, in your life. And then just really taking it slow. That's my other thing is like people, I know that it's painful to be overweight and you want to just like be at your goal, but like you didn't really get here in, a week.
Right.
So it's not going to take that long to get off. But I always encourage everyone to.
Do you think there's a lot of talk about the aspect that, you're talking about not eating and not wanting to eat and living on iced coffee, which I also, if I'm having a busy day, it can be 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, crap, I haven't eaten anything today. Cause you just don't think about it. Right. But do you think that there's a couple of doctors talking about the fear of like EDs developing, or even like people using it as a gateway. Do you think that's a real fear?
Yeah. I think that there are people who are using it inappropriately. I see a lot of people online who have lost way too much weight, in my opinion. I don't go and comment because I don't find that helpful, because I don't know their situation or their health history, but it is just like I see them and it's pretty clear that they have gone too far with it. But like people that are obese often have eating disorders already. Like it's not uncommon for an obese person to have anorexia or bulimia or something else. Like just because somebody's overweight doesn't mean that they don't have an eating disorder.
That's a big misconception. I think like you're fat. How can you have an eating disorder?
Right.
Yeah.
And they definitely do. I interviewed a gal on my podcast that was in eating disorder recovery because she had PCOS, because she was overweight. That gave her anorexia because she was so stressed out about the PCOS, being overweight and all of that. And so now she was in eating disorder recovery. So I think that there isn't enough talk about that because it can spiral into just like, wow, I don't need to eat at all now.
There's several telehealth companies that recently, which I mean, sometimes I promote Orderly, but there's problems with it as well. There's problems with the telehealth space in general because, you're allowing access in an online world, right? Where we're not most of the time even talking to providers in a face-to-face way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them now that have like removed the BMI requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll call it microdosing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, so they're allowing people with 18 BMIs to get it, but they're saying they're using it. But so like that opens up this whole like really dangerous thing. And we were actually I was talking to a telehealth company about that recently. Like, why do you not do microdosing? And that was what they said. They said the doctors aren't comfortable doing that because how can they prove that this person doesn't have a problem?
Right.
Right.
And in theory, you should like go to your practitioner and they should screen you for that, and they should assess like if your BMI is 23, you don't need a GLP-1.
Right.
You can maybe even argue sometimes your BMI is 26 or 27. You maybe don't need a GLP-1.
Right.
But I mean, I've seen a company that directly markets to underweight or normal weight people.
Yes.
Like,
there's one that's their whole business strategy currently.
Yes. And honestly, like I live in a high income area outside of Nashville where a lot of celebrities live and famous Nashville people. And people are on it for 5-10 pounds, like because they can afford it and they don't care, and it's like, I think that that's a problem.
Yeah.
But I know that the med spas around here are inundated with that kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, the practitioners should say no. But once again, it's money.
I mean, it's an ethics thing, though, a morality thing, right? I in a perfect world, I would like to see if telehealths are offering that, making the approval process for that specific thing much more rigorous. So requiring a Zoom at least visit where you're face to face with them, seeing them, reading the way they're answering questions to you, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not happening. So there are the definite things that worry me about, I know people in my life that have had EDs and I'm like, imagine if this person is in a difficult spot and sees this opportunity and it's like, oh, it's great and it's scary.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I don't know how we can prevent it because you could even just go on there and lie. You could say, all you do is input your weight.
Yeah. And you send a picture, but again, you could send a picture. I mean, most of them, they do allow you to say, like, say if you're at 25, 26 BMI, but you've been on it and you've achieved that through use of a GLP-1, then that's different. And they allow you to like kind of explain that. But otherwise you could just, like you said, I don't want to give people ideas, but I'm sure most people have thought of this, right? Like it's a world where you can bend to what you want.
I just want people to understand this is a drug. Like, yes, GLP-1 is a naturally occurring peptide in your body, but it is not without any side effects. It's just like, let's lose 5 pounds for this wedding, no problem. It has side effects that need to be considered. And you can have an adverse reaction. And is that really worth it for 5 pounds or 10 pounds or what to a person that's already a normal weight?
And probably doesn't struggle the same way, with food noise and stuff like that as people that are significantly overweight do.
And I've had people ask me like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. Should I do it? And I'm like, and I tell them no. And they're like, but it's hard for me to lose these 10 pounds. And I'm like, I mean, you don't need to lose the 10 pounds. It's like your own like perception. But I don't really have an answer for that. Like it's just complicated.
And I'm sure it's difficult as a practitioner to see things that you can't do anything about.
I mean, I just try to stay in my lane as much as I can.
Sometimes
late night you get like, trigger happy on your thumbs, but I try not to.
That's what I was telling you earlier. I usually write out things and then delete them so that I don't. I mean, I do that in text to my personal,
Sure.
people in real life as well. Like sometimes we just have to like cut ourselves off, but it's, I think that you're doing a great thing by providing real evidence-based information with actual providers that are in the space that know what they're talking about and can provide real answers. And I really want to encourage people to, when you're looking for information on GLP-1s, to go that route, to look for a professional-based content creator. Again, this is going against myself, but somebody that has real evidence-based information that they're going to share with you. If you're making a decision that could it's a drug, right? Like it's a big decision that you shouldn't just see an ad on TikTok and dive headfirst into it.
And I think it's valuable for people to share their stories, and I don't want to discount that.
Oh, no.
Part of my podcast is I have users on too. Like I have GLP-1 users, because I think those stories are valuable, and I try to get users that have different points of view and different stories and that kind of stuff. Like that was a big part of what I wanted to do. But, if you're going to like take a supplement or go to or change your diet in some way, like make sure it's coming from information that's reasonable. But like if a user is saying, oh, here's how I get my protein in, like, I don't think that that's super harmful.
No,
it's just be cautious.
Yeah, no, I agree. You can get a lot of good information from users or from people that are sharing their real experiences. But I think that we as people should be able to tell when information is good. Like I don't know. I think we should all have this discernment to be able to say this is not good advice.
Right.
Unfortunately, we all.
Or it's not good advice for me.
Yes.
Like, that's not what I should be doing because I have kidney disease, diabetes, whatever, or like, it's everything is not going to apply to anybody. I think that people like get into this, like, oh, what works for you works for everyone. And that's not the case at all. So
it might, like, even with the whole, like, I know everybody should lift some type of weights or whatever, but like, I don't know. I just think that health looks differently to everybody, and what your picture of health that you want looks differently to everybody. And, so that's when the user stories can get a little bit like too much, because you take what you can, glean what you can from it, and then make informed decisions for yourself.
Right. And if you're really struggling in some way, I encourage you to like either speak to your healthcare provider or a registered dietitian who can like look at the whole picture of you. Like, don't take advice from me because I don't know you.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a unique situation, and even if you ask me, like, I don't see the whole picture. So I think things need to be more personalized than people realize.
Yes, I would agree. And there's a lot of people that are like fighting even telehealth going towards more personalization. So like more blood work being done and stuff. People don't want that. But in the end, it might take you a little bit longer to get your GLP-1, but in the end, it's probably better for your overall health that they pivot to doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know a lot of them are going that direction, and it needs to be that way.
Yeah, it should have been that way the whole time, but they, again, they saw a market and they ran with it.
Yeah.
And it didn't go that way at all. And some of them have fallen because of that, as we know. So, so you're not like practicing currently. So you don't offer like services?
Nope.
No. Have you ever thought about it?
No, I don't. I have no interest in doing that. I love online business. Okay. I've been working in content marketing for so many years. Like, that's how I like making money, is creating. I have some digital products. I have the podcast that has sponsors. Like, I have, that kind of thing. And like, and I do speaking engagements, and that I make money that way. So I'm not even licensed in the state of Tennessee as a dietitian. Like, I am a dietitian for the, national board.
Yeah.
I pay the state of Tennessee to work here. I don't want to do that. I'd be happy to refer. I have a really wide network of dietitians who love working with GLP-1 patients. So if somebody needs one, happy to refer you, find somebody in your state.
Wonderful.
But me, I'll be honest that I don't like talking to anybody. Podcaster.
Same. I was telling somebody, it was Chris and Lorraine. I was like, I'm so nervous about this. And they were like, why? You literally talk for a living. I'm like, but it's different when I'm talking to myself, you know. Every time I get on here and do an interview, I'm like, I'm so nervous, and for no reason, right? It's just, yeah. Anyway. So do you have any last words that you would like to share with us about life, GLP-1 life?
Sure. My main encouragement to everyone is, and I've said this a few times, is you need food, you need nutrients, you need micronutrients. You don't just need protein. And take it slow. Change your perspective from this is for me to be skinny, or this is for me to reach some high school weight, to this is for me to be healthier and live a longer life, and like put the pieces in place that will help with that, instead of just like trying to get to some arbitrary number as quickly as possible. That's going to end up, you know, impacting your health later. So I think we've been so focused, obesity, forget that we could become malnourished. Like, it is real to have malnutrition. And so just strike a balanced approach.
Wonderful advice. And yes, and try not to restrict yourself too much. When you said that you need more nutrients and protein, I thought of something I meant to ask you about. I had a few people commenting on the video that I made about fiber, talking about how fiber is not a nutrient. You don't really need it. And protein can provide you with all that you need. You want to take a guess at what diet these people followed? But what do you say to that? What is fiber and why do you need it?
Meat is nutrient dense. It has a lot of micronutrients. So that is, to some extent, correct. You can get a lot of vitamins and minerals from eating animal protein, 100%. You need fiber for gut health. People who stay on these like keto carnivore diets long term, their gut health gets messed up. The microbes in their gut like start dying off. And so they end up with bad ones in there. So they end up giving themselves digestive issues. And that's why we need the fiber. Plus, the GLP-1 slows down your digestion already. And if you don't have any fiber, like you're going to be so constipated, like you don't know. I've heard multiple people having to go to the hospital because of severe constipation from GLP-1. Fiber is going to be the way that you're going to do it. Plus, plants have a lot of antioxidants and other nutrients that are not just those like vitamins and minerals that you can get from eating those plants. So I don't take a black and white approach to it. Like, I think you need meat and I think you need plants also. And, you know, come at me, but like, I'm just never gonna think differently.
Follow Anna's advice. Okay. And where can they find you? Last question. And of course, I'm going to link everything down below as well. But where can they find you on what platforms?
So all the places, and it's GLP-1 Hub. And so my website is GLP-1hub.com. And that's the podcast and Instagram and TikTok and on YouTube. So I try to be all the places. And I would love it if people would get on my newsletter. You can get it's on my website, and go there and get on the newsletter, because I send out weekly tips about weight loss and all the things that I think about GLP-1.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. It was a great conversation. I love just, real down to earth conversation. So thank you for doing that with us today. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to go check out all of Anna's socials and follow her. She's great. She puts out a lot of great, really good information. I was reading her blog posts this morning, and they're just go check her out. You'll love her. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.